Hello and welcome to CadoinkStudios. I have for you today the first game in the semifinals of the Gold and Below tournament. It's been a long ride up to the semifinals, but I'm very excited to be here. So spawning in the top right corner of Cloud Kingdom, we do have AngryProbes, who is the blue Protoss player, and his opponent is Emil, the green Protoss player. So we do have a PvP here on Cloud Kingdom. Both players worked very hard to get to the semifinals, beating a lot of very good players. So now they will have to face each other, and the winner will move on to the finals. In the other semifinal match, we have, I do believe, Arcanine versus Animus. So those will be casted as well and uploaded, and the winner of that game will play the winner of this game, and that will be the final match in the Golden Below tournament. For those of you who are just now jumping in, please go watch all the rest of the videos. It's been a very good tournament. The Golden Below tournament is a tournament hosted by Animus on the Battle.net forums. 4 players in the Gold League, Silver League, Bronze League. Basically your lower league players who don't get to play in a lot of tournaments and compete in a place where they can do well. So this is a tournament where they can, of course, do well, win a lot of games, and have a lot of fun. And Animus is going to be hosting another one. I don't know when that will be, but it is a kind of team format, which is very cool. So you can get together with a group of your friends. It's still 1v1s, but it's a team tournament, kind of like the SCL and SPL, if you've been keeping track of that as well. So it looks like both players are doing very similar things, getting their assimilators at about the same time. AngryProbes just a little bit ahead on its gas. Both players getting their gateways up, chrono boosting out their probes. Actually, Emil is missing a lot of his chrono boost, but that's alright. Yeah, so pretty typical things. We could see a 4-gate out of either of our players. We could see 3-gate robos. No Forge Fast Expands, of course. I don't foresee any kind of fast expanding build at this point in the game, as neither player can really afford it. Looks like AngryProbes just a little bit ahead on getting his Cybernetics core. However, he did opt to get his Zealot a bit later, so Emil will have his Zealot a lot earlier than AngryProbes. This doesn't really mean too much. It just means he can try to deny the Scout sooner. Emil does not have a Scout in AngryProbes base, so he didn't really need the Zealot, and so he opted to get it a bit later, which is good play by AngryProbes, kind of reading that. I don't know if that was conscious decision, like, oh, he's not scouting me, I don't need my Zealot as soon, but regardless, it's a good choice. And interestingly, it looks like AngryProbes kind of does want to expand. Actually, probably not. He's putting down a gateway. I imagine he'll be putting down another one as well. But yeah, this probe may be just here to scout, just make sure there's no pylons going down here, no kind of cannon rushes or 4-gate warp-ins, these sort of things. However, he is moving around the base. He does see the second gas, and this is very indicative of a 3-gate robo. Another gate going down for Emil. I suspect he'll be putting another gateway down, and then probably a robotics facility after that. In the meantime, Emil building, AngryProbes building some more pylons. Going to be putting down a 3rd gateway. So at this point, he can choose to either go 3-gate robo or 4-gate. I don't think he'll be going the 4-gate as well. He doesn't seem to be gearing up to do that much pressure, but we'll have to see what he decides to do. Yeah, not too much going on at this time. We have another gateway going down for Emil, so both players doing very similar things, just at different times, and there it is, sure enough, a robotics facility going down for Emil, and I suspect AngryProbes will be doing the same as well. Yes, indeed, robotics facility. So both players going 3-gate robo. Very common build for Protoss, very common build in Protoss versus Protoss, because you can get your observer up really quickly in case one of the players goes DTs, which can be very obnoxious. Also, a very early Stalker Immortal push can be very strong against Protoss players, or against Zerg players for that matter. And so with that robo, you can get out a very early Immortal. And then if you want, you can go Colossi, or you can keep going Immortal. You can kind of do whatever you want at that point. So 3-gate robo is a very common, very sturdy sort of build. Here's the first big difference we see. We see AngryProbes getting his expansion up a lot sooner than his opponent. I don't even know if his opponent will be planning to take an expansion as he is building quite a bit of units. If we look at the army supply, Emil is a bit ahead, and I imagine he will get even more ahead and gear up to attack. I think he wants to do some early pressure as early as he can. And so AngryProbes is just going to be doing the proper thing, just warping in some units to make sure he can have this defended. I wouldn't be surprised to see a forge go down so he can start getting those upgrades, perhaps back here, and then maybe a cannon in his natural just to help defend it a little bit more. There are a lot of early attacks that can hurt a fast expanding Protoss player. And yes, indeed, we do see a forge going down for AngryProbes, probably to get those upgrades and to pop down a cannon. Also going to be getting an observer of his own and flying it across the map. Emil's is already halfway across the map on its way to AngryProbes' base, where it will see exactly what is going on, and I think he will be quite pleased to see that his opponent is expanding, because he does want to do this early kind of attack. He already has one immortal, second immortal is almost finished, and he's been keeping track of his warpins, warping in a lot of zealots actually. Wouldn't be surprised to see him maybe later on go Twilight Council and then get zealot legs. +1 is coming out for AngryProbes. It will be out before Emil's. Emil does not even have a forge, I do not think. Yeah, so he will have the upgrade advantage. That might help him a lot if it finishes before this attack comes. AngryProbes is going to need to defend this. He doesn't have that many units, and if this attack succeeds, however, flying his observer right over Emil's army, he does see that that is coming, and so he will be planning accordingly, I believe, probably trying to get out his immortal a little bit quicker. He will have 2 immortals. Probably going to continue to warp in. He really needs to do that. If he can land some good force fields, he will be able to hold, but we'll have to see. Emil's army moving up at this time, going in for the attack just straight away. A force field going down, not really doing that much. Emil is forcing AngryProbes back up his ramp, and now AngryProbes looks like he is in a lot of trouble. His natural is very, very undefended. Going to be trying to move his probes out, really needs to get him up the ramp and save them, but they are getting a little bit stuck. A very nice force field going down for Emil, keeping AngryProbes up in his base and keeping AngryProbes probes out of his base. So he will be able to just continue attacking this Nexus and probably going to be able to destroy it. And a great force field, allowing 1 Stalker and 1 Immortal to come out, so he will be able to pick those off individually. Now AngryProbes is looking like he's in a lot of trouble. His Nexus has been destroyed. He does have a few more Stalkers up on the high ground, taking some nice shots, but his Immortal is just doing tons of damage because there is an observer here. He is able to see up onto the high ground. However, Emil does not have that many units left. One of the Immortals getting picked off, the other one having to retreat. And AngryProbes holds the attack very nicely. However, he does lose the Nexus, and so he will be behind economically, as his opponent's Nexus has finished during that attack. That's such a great play by Emil, doing an attack and then expanding behind it so that you can keep your economy ahead. Now he can afford to put down 2 more gateways, which is going to be very important. And his opponent can't really afford to put down too many more gateways because he has to make sure he's getting his Nexus up, continue to build probes, these sort of things. However, it looks as though AngryProbes is on the offensive. He does know that when a player attacks, he's going to be expanding behind it, so he may not have a big army. So this might be the perfect time for him to counterattack. We'll have to see. However, Emil has kind of neglected probe production in his natural in order to build some more units to defend. I think this is a good decision, because if he hadn't done that, this attack would be a lot scarier. So he will be moving in with his observer, and you will see that Emil has quite a bit of zealots on the field. Moving forward with his Stalkers, but pulling back just in time. Going to be trying to pick off these destructible rocks so that he can get a better concave, these sort of things. In the meantime, his Nexus is just finishing up, should be done here in a few seconds, and then he'll start being able to saturate it again. If we look at the income tab, AngryProbes is actually ahead. Emil spent a lot of his resources on units for that big attack and didn't have that much on probes. However, now that he's getting this natural saturated up, he is zooming ahead, as we see. Looks as though both players are kind of at a standstill, trying to decide what to do. AngryProbes can see Emil's army, while Emil cannot see AngryProbes' army. And I don't think AngryProbes wants to engage at this time, so we will be pulling back to the watchtower, which is a very good decision. Also going to be sending some more zealots as well as a probe, so we can build that ever so important proxy pylon so that he can warp in units very, very close. In the meantime, Emil knows where his army is, or about where his army is. He knows it's not at home because he does have this observer here, and he sees the units moving across the map. And so he's got to suspect he's at one watchtower or the other. Pylon does indeed go down for AngryProbes. He will be able to warp in units and continue attacking. In the meantime, Emil is doing some very good things. He's getting double forge, so he will be able to get that +1 upgrade done very soon, as Emil is at +1 attack. And when his +1 armor finishes, Emil's +1 attack and armor will finish. So Emil's very, very nice getting that upgrade at a pretty good time. Also going to be putting down a Twilight Council so he can continue to get those very good upgrades. And these sort of things. Probably going to be getting Zealot legs as he is very, very Zealot heavy at this time. So yeah, both players doing very good things. AngryProbes is kind of stuck on very, very few gateways. He needs to put down at least 2 more, maybe 3 more. He is floating quite a bit of minerals. Ooh, and it looks like there's an engagement outside of Emil's base. The Zealots going in and doing a lot of damage. However, AngryProbes has a very, very nice army. But it looks like it might be forced back as this attack was right before AngryProbes' armor was able to complete, so it is 1-1 to just 1-0. So Emil is doing a lot of damage. 3 Immortals, 2 AngryProbes, 2. He will be able to warp in some more Stalkers and push this army back. A very nice line of attack for AngryProbes. Going to be picking off actually all of Emil's army. All of his Immortals. This could be very bad for Emil as his Immortal production is not that fast and he's left with only 3 Zealots and 2 Stalkers going to be warping in some more Zealots as well. AngryProbes is going to be trying to attack, however there's a cannon here which does shut a lot down, but it looks like he wants to go for it. He needs to try to kite these Zealots. He actually could have taken out a lot, as the Zealots will not be able to land if he keeps stutter stepping, but I think he wants to warp in some more Stalkers and try for a bigger push. In the meantime, he is going to be putting down 4 gateways of his own, so he will be able to produce 7 units at a time, also continuing to produce those ever so important Immortals, and he's going to be getting his Robotics Bay up and trying to get some Colossi out. In the meantime, he's allowed his opponent to kind of rebuild his army. Another Immortal out on the field. Zealot legs started for him, as well as +2 attack and defense for his ground units. A lot of Zealots on the field still. He's really favoring these Zealots, which actually with the Zealot legs, they're going to land very nicely on the Stalker army, do a lot of damage, and the Immortals won't be able to do that much. Holy cow, do you see this Immortal? It has exactly 1 HP. 100 shield and 1 HP. That Immortal is a baller, just barely surviving. We do see that AngryProbes is kind of favoring the Stalker side. He is taking a 3rd base. I like this a lot. He will be very, very economical with this, and he needs it to support this Colossus play that he wants to do. Colossi are very expensive. Also has another Observer. Actually, oh my gosh, this Observer has 1 HP. AngryProbes is like the god of keeping things alive at just the last minute, as he does have 2 units with only 1 HP. AngryProbes, very interestingly, getting +1 shield. Not a lot of players get that as of late. Most players favor this +1 attack, +1 defense. Also has a Twilight Council of his own. Could be getting Blink, as he does have a lot of Stalkers, and we can see how good his Blink micro is. But he is just kind of moving around waiting to attack. I want to see the army supply is actually in Emil's favor, so even though AngryProbes did build those extra gateways, he hasn't been pumping out as many units as he could have. Now it looks like Emil is on the offensive. He wants to move out. He does have 3 Immortals, which are very strong. He is going to be moving forward. Zealot legs has finished, so the Zealots are able to get up and land on the Stalkers, doing tons of damage, just completely destroying those Stalkers. However, some interesting force fields going down. I don't know in whose favor, but it looks like Emil is going to take this battle decidedly, as he does still have his 3 Immortals. Ooh, but a nice warping of Stalkers to the left, coming in and flanking, destroying one of the Immortals, probably going to be able to get the other one as well. And actually, Emil's kind of split his army. He really needs to push with this second half as to not lose this Immortal, but the Immortal does go down as well as this Stalker. but AngryProbes knows he's in a lot of trouble. He knows he needs to warp in some more, so he is going to be warping in a lot of Zealots, trying to move his Stalkers back so that the Zealots can land, but his Zealots do not have Zealot legs, so Emil can just back off like this and be fine, and so he will back off into a nice little warping of Zealots, which these Zealots do have Zealot legs and will be able to land and do a lot of damage. Another engagement going in. The Zealots landing for both of our players. It looks like AngryProbes is going to have to back off a little bit because he is in a lot of trouble. Nice little Zealot battle going on, but the Zealots for Emil survive and manage to get onto the Stalkers, forcing them back. Nice Zealot micro, or excuse me, Stalker micro, leaving that Stalker alive at 12 HP. Man, AngryProbes, you're just good at keeping stuff alive. Looks like some oversaturation in the natural. Should be moving some of those to the third. His main is mined out. Looks like he's not making use of that robotics bay, which is interesting because his opponent is very Zealot heavy, and Colossi are very good against Zealots. However, just as I say that, I see Emil warping in a lot of sentries and a lot of Stalkers, so he may be transitioning, kind of catching his opponent off guard. But here's the big deal, guys. AngryProbes is at 1-1-1, and Emil is going to be at 3-3 here very shortly. In fact, with a Chrono Boost, he could be done in the next 30 seconds or so. And so that's going to be so strong for Emil, as he will have 2 upgrades ahead of his opponent. And AngryProbes is just now starting his Zealot legs, so I don't really know what Emil can do at this point. He really needs to pull back. However, he has kept his army here, and another engagement is going on at this time. A great concave by Emil, keeping his sentries in the back so he can land those force fields and they don't get picked off, using the Stalkers to deal a lot of damage. And AngryProbes has finally decided that it is his time to run away. However, Emil is going to engage. He's going to try to push this fight into AngryProbes' base. And it looks like, yeah, he wants the kill. He wants to win this right now. His 3-3 is just about done. This is very good time to attack, as his +1 attack will finish right in time. He is moving forward with his whole army. A lot of Immortals for Emil. Going to be moving for that third. Ooh, some nice force fields going down, splitting AngryProbes' army in half. This is very bad for AngryProbes, as Emil will be able to come in and pick off his only Immortal. And now he can kill those sentries and those Stalkers with ease. The force field finishing, but there's not much left for AngryProbes, even sending in his own probes. A nice little Zealot warp in the back for AngryProbes, but it will be taken out. A nice force field going down, keeping the bulk of the Zealots away from the Immortal. And yeah, now Emil is in AngryProbes' base, just killing all of his things. These gateways are going to go down very quickly. Yeah, actually targeting these pylons. Looks like he's going to be splitting half his army and moving into the third. Going to be trying to pick up as much as he can. Some Stalkers warping in for AngryProbes, with these 3-3 Stalkers are too strong. You're going to be able to pick off this little Stalker force while these Immortals are able to pick off all the pylons, effectively shutting down these 4 gateways. AngryProbes sending his own probes in to try to pick off the Immortals, but the Immortals are so strong. 3-3 Immortals against probes. There's just no hope. In fact, just barely getting the shields off this one. And yeah, there's the GG by AngryProbes. AngryProbes losing game number 1 in the semifinals of the Gold and Below tournament, but that's alright. He still has 2 games to make up for it, as it is a best of 3 format, and the winner of this game will move on to the finals. So congratulations, Emil. If you take the next game, you will be moving on. AngryProbes, good luck to you. If you take game number 2, we will move on to a 3rd game. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'm Cadoink. Please comment below, like the video, all that good stuff. And I will see you guys in game number 2.